Welcome to the Tank Podcast. In this week's episode, author Jeremy Atherton Lin reads from his new book, Deep House, an erotic and politically charged memoir on housing precarity, sex and legislative activism.
"Bring him along," chirped the artist with the gargantuan penis, who had taken the not topless pictures of me. The images came out flattering, though obviously would have been better without the t-shirt, which made me appear store-bought rather than heaven-sent. "I showed you the contact sheets, and you didn't see the same me that you would have photographed." I looked slick. "I figured taking you to the dinner party of an older guy whom I'd slept with was very gay liberation of me. He and his housemates lived on the ground floor of a shaky Victorian conversion. What once would have been a wealthy family's boot room was now the kitchen, where ravenous gossip was exchanged over bubbling sauces that made me think toil and trouble. The crockery was mismatched, and the girls did not shave their legs. The cooks brought vegetarian dishes to the dining table, where we sat with people in their 20s, maybe 30s, who appeared to be wearing every item of clothing they owned at once. They spilled wine as they gabbed about throbbing gristle and BDSM and go-go dancing. The posters on the wall related to these topics. Foucault, God, let's not with him anymore. Pasolini, Wojnarowicz. I brought up my favorite story of that summer, the plague of chupacabras, some kind of bat alien dog creature chewing up cows in Mexico. This went down with mild success, though the conversation soon returned to discipline and punish. I wanted you to think it was all very convivial, very Tales of the City, a book I'd insisted you read before coming, but maybe San Francisco had hardened since the 70s. Its bohemians seemed more likely to close ranks than open arms. It was hard to shake the sense that we were outside of a clique. Everyone knew one another's names. Everyone was called a genius or a saint and thought to be the devil. What did we do to deserve an invitation? Surely we were seen as having less depth. I thought we were probably there because we looked like sex. You so skinny you could be broken in two with a caress, and that little upended nose, piggy you called it. My ass, a thick slice of cake. Sometimes a fag would glance at us skeptically. Sometimes a girl would slip us a smile of solidarity. Maybe some of them had seen those photographs of me. Maybe some of them thought I should have moved to San Francisco and become one of them, not arrive with this baggage from London. I looked at you in your hopeless patterned shirt. In their eyes, you may have appeared too mannered, too pretty. People said they were a choreographer or a writer. How did they have jobs like that? One of the fags turned to you, as if obligated. "And what do you do?" "An artist," he repeated incredulously, tapping a cigarette. "Whose work do you like, then?" The room went silent, of course, and I winced as you forgot the name of every artist. "I like Francis Bacon," you said. He snorted. "And what do you like about Francis Bacon's work?" You squirmed. I wish I could have helped you, announced that those paintings look like a howl, and you were still so young, a howl is what you carried inside. Those paintings look like a cum shot, and you were still so young, that's what you needed to release. His paintings have an aggression, a crudiness that resonates with someone growing into adulthood, filled with desire and unable to quite clean up their own mess. You made a fist under the table, holding it in the other hand, then dug your thumb into the cradling palm. If you were going to be hurt, let it be you who applied the pressure. Or maybe the gesture was like pressing a button that would make you disappear. I was sick of gay men who located an insecurity and exposed it as if yanking a cat from its hiding place under the bed. I was mortified, but also fretful that I was embarrassed as much for you as for him. Was I complicit? An upbeat choreographer announced that everyone should try the chili, and chatter resumed. I couldn't help but think that the most upsetting thing to you was that I had brought you here. I detected that while you may have been more vulnerable with me than with anyone else, you also found it particularly unbearable to show weakness in my presence. I was itchy and found it hard to eat. I looked around the room. Did I want to fuck any of them? Not really. Maybe one, a guy with a faux hawk, who took the photo on the wall of a caravan at Burning Man, filled with people who looked like extras from Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. I imagined that when he didn't shower for days in the desert, he smelled the way an ostentatious, bourbon-fueled guitar solo sounds. That was enough to make me consider those parts of his body I might huff or lick. Did I want you to think that was a possibility? Maybe. But what fun is it to keep a boy on his toes when he's drowning? We walked home past the Victorian houses lining each foggy street. "Tell me about Francis Bacon," I said. "Oh God," you said. "I don't know. Let's please not talk about it." I kind of dropped it, but bad habit didn't. I told you about a student in the art department at UCLA. From what I heard, the graduating class was gathered for his final presentation. He'd constructed a piñata of himself and asked the student who'd become his nemesis, an art jock, to take the stage. He handed the guy a baseball bat. Typical passive-aggressive behavior, we thought, someone who was there told me. The art jock began to decimate the effigy. When it broke, instead of candy spilling out, dozens of butterflies filled the room. "Isn't that beautiful?" I asked, and glanced at you. Your brow raised slightly. Your silence was enough to make me see my nation as I think you saw it, proclaiming its wonder by violently pulling back a curtain, taking pride in a tenderness it took pulverizing to achieve. America was a master calling its captives resilient. I didn't have to ask what you were thinking, which was, what about the butterflies?
To hear more podcasts from Tank, you can subscribe on all major podcast platforms or follow us on SoundCloud. The theme music for this podcast is by Himera.